Agribusiness brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Good morning, welcome back to the show. We're at the 100th, Frank, 100th
Yes.
KLA conference here in Wichita, Kansas. We're joined by Frank, who's the current KLA president. Thanks for joining us this morning. KLA, you guys do a lot for producers here across the state. If you think about it, the industry's tough to be in to begin with, and then you throw in input cost, drought, consumer demand down at times, consumer taste changed on a regular basis. It's really hard to be in the industry, but KLA is there to support the producer in the state.
Yes, and you mentioned the 100th convention. That's pretty awesome milestone. You know, been in existence since 1894, but hosting our 100th annual convention this week. And yeah, KLA's been around a long time, and I think just the great membership has really made it the organization it was then and is now, and always looking out for the best interests of livestock producers and agriculture in general.
And 100 years, I mean, that's a long time. The cattle industry really kind of put Kansas on the map. You know, Kansas is thought of the wheat state, and rightfully so. We produce more wheat than anybody else.
Sure.
But close to probably $7 billion in cattle receipts. It really could be a wheat/cattle state.
Oh, definitely. I think probably so. I think we used to think of Kansas being more wheat state. Maybe the livestock maybe hasn't got as much recognition over the years, but a huge part of the gross receipts for the state. You know, several segments of the industry, about all of them really. You have the cow-calf and the stock growers type entities, and you have the cattle feeding, mostly located in the east or western part of the state, but really some locations throughout. The packing industry in the western part of the state, a great bunch of dairy folks in the state as well. So really a state that has a good setting for all kinds of the parts in the cattle industry.
Well, yeah, and I think you touched on something that's really kind of important. By the time a calf hits the ground, it may never have to leave the state of Kansas.
Well, that's true.
Right.
And you know, with the feeding sector in the western part of the state, obviously a lot of cattle come across state lines, but actually you're right. There are a lot of cattle that are born here, never leave the state from really from conception to when they get on the plate to the consumer.
KLA and the support that you guys provide your producers, it's a membership-driven organization, but for that membership, lots of support, lots of training, and lots of information that go out to producers.
Absolutely. You know, KLA's approach has always been that we want to help protect and create an environment for producers to make their own choices, especially when that belongs to, or when that pertains to production practices, marketing. Really, we believe in free enterprise, and that's really encompasses really what we're here for, is to try to protect the producer's way of doing business.
And not only that, but legislative support. I mean, I know a lot of time spent at the legislative sessions here in the state of Kansas. Not only that, but in Washington. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into supporting this beef industry here in the state.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, there's just there's not as many of us as there used to be. It's still a large number of producers, and I think we'll look to a good number of producers in the future. But you still have to have representation. To, you know, a lot of the time that our staff does is educating legislators, especially urban legislators, about, you know, what things are important to us and how we do things, and I think it's just a learning process for all of us as we go along. But the opportunity to educate the people that affect our lives is a great opportunity, but definitely a necessity for us as producers to have.
Well, Frank, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk about the next generation of Kansas cattle ranchers.
Sounds great.
You're watching Ag AM in Kansas. We'll see you in just a minute.
Agribusiness brought to you by Tarwater Farm and Home. Come on by, we'll treat you like family.
Thanks for staying with us. We're at the 100th KLA convention in Wichita, Kansas. We're joined by Frank, who is the current KLA president. Thanks for staying with us, Frank.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. But we've had a chance to talk to a couple of other people, but probably you more than anybody else would understand the role and the importance of continually bringing young people into not only the KLA organization, but into the industry in general.
You know, that's been something that's really been refreshing for our association. With our Young Stockman's Academy, we bring in 20 young folks every year between the ages of 20 and 30. And and try to educate them on the industry as a whole, all phases of the industry, and they certainly educate us as well. These young folks really have a great knowledge base, and it's really been a refreshing thing for, I know, members to see, because a lot of times we hear that young folks in agriculture, there's just not very many of them out there anymore, and we just have a great interest from that group to learn more about the cattle industry and also be a part of it.
Well, not only them, but you go down on the show floor and you see all the businesses that impact the cattle industry here in the state. You've got multiple pharmaceutical companies here and other businesses. It's nice to know when you put on a conference like this, you've got outside influences that can come in and help support that.
Oh, our allied industry partners are just key for our association and our membership. They provide some of those resources, whether that's to educate members, to put on great events like we're having here this week. It's just a great partnership, and we really cherish those. So many of those are long-term relationships, and even as companies have changed ownership over the years, those individuals that we've known for a long time, we continue to maintain those relationships, which is really refreshing.
Not only that, but you look at the commodities. You've got corn and soybean being represented here. Not only are they important to your industry, but your industry is extremely important to them.
That's right. We all have to work together, and most of the time we're on the same page. Sometimes we have different issues, but I think the key for agriculture in general is to focus on what we all agree on.
Common ground.
Absolutely, and I think that's what KLA does a great job at doing, finding that common ground and working toward a common goal.
Now, is your time as president running out, or are you just starting that?
No, just finishing up. I'll finish it up tomorrow morning.
Okay.
It's been a great year. I have spent quite a bit of time in various parts of the state, traveled quite a bit, and it's really been great to get out and get to know our membership better. We've been around, like you say, over 100 years, and the membership is as great today as it was then. I've learned a lot. I've certainly probably got a lot more out of it than I put in, and that's always been kind of refreshing.
That's a fair trade then.
Oh, it's absolutely, but had a lot of fun, and looking forward to welcoming in our next president, Mark Harms, tomorrow actually.
Right.
So looking forward to that.
Well, not only that, not only what you do, but the staff at the KLA office.
Oh, great staff.
Great staff, very helpful. I know they help our show out quite a bit.
Okay.
We do a lot of stuff with the Kansas Beef Council, so it's a win-win for everybody. You guys are really champions and stewards of the beef industry here in the state.
Oh yes, we probably can't say that enough about our staff. The best in the business. And I think a lot of that is they most of the folks that work for KLA are grounded in agriculture. That's what they love, and a lot of them spend a lot of time in their off time doing what we do every day as producers out here. And I think it really shows the passion for the industry that they have, just because they're grounded. Right. Really great people.
Frank, very nice to meet you, sir.
Oh, great.
Thank
Appreciate
you for
the
your
time
that you served the state.